push. No! Don't do it! I know your life sucks. I like how this thing is at 6.0 but the Sherman Jumbo 76 is at 6.3. Hey guys, it's Jim here, and welcome back to War Thunder. And today we are checking out a tank that I've been kinda sleeping on for some time. I actually wanted to do a video about it, but for some reason I didn't, maybe because I'm not too happy about how I perform with it. But anyway, this is the Jagdpanther G1. And to put it simply, it's basically a turretless Panther that's bringing the Tiger 2's long 88 down to 6.0. It's really not that far off in terms of bringing a gun from one battle rating to one battle rating lower, but considering what happens at 6.0 and above, I say 6.0 is actually pretty good down a BR. But anyway, this thing is pretty devastating for its battle rating and pretty much anything it comes across. Now let me break it down to you and I'll show you why this thing really makes me think that the Sherman Jumbo 76 really don't belong to 6.3. So first things first, armor. As I mentioned earlier on, you are a tank destroyer based on the Panther that doesn't have a turret, so that means you have the Panther's upper front plate as your full-on armor. 80mm right here, sloped at 55 degrees. As you can see with the Panther F, 80mm sloped at 55 degrees. So yeah, it's basically the Panther, just that they extended the upper front plate up a little bit so it can house the long 88 from the Tiger 2. And at 6.0, not a lot of guns can actually go through this. Now there will be the few tanks that can, just that nowhere as much as you going up to 6.3 or 6.7 with the Tiger 2 and you get up tiered. Best case scenario, you get down tiered and all you face is the T-34-85, the Avenger, the Challenger with APCBC, the Sherman 76, IS-1, Chinu 2, Chiri, Cheetos, yeah, they can't punch through this anytime soon, no matter how you look at it. As we all know about the Panther's upper front plate armor, just be careful about a few tanks like the IS-2, 122mm as you saw in my video with it. They can definitely punch through this, as well as tanks with APDS like the Walker Bulldog and the Challenger APDS and the Comet. They can easily punch through this, so that's something to be careful of. And then moving on, we have this right here, variable thickness armor that's overlapping the 80mm right here. Yeah, you're not getting through this anytime soon and you shoot this. As well as this. So I'm not too concerned about them knocking out my gun breach or shooting this and getting my crewman anytime soon. Just be careful that your barrel is still vulnerable. And the bigger the barrel, the bigger the muzzle break, yeah, the more likely it is that's going to happen. And now you might be thinking, there's a weak spot, it's called the machine gun port, so why is this thing so good? Well, here's the thing though, Gaijin fixed it. Not only is it variable thickness armor that over here that has really ridiculous armor around here, they also added the bulbous machine gun port right here. That's also variable thickness armor. So yeah, rejoice to all German players, the machine gun port weak spot on the Jagdpanther is no longer a thing. Now moving lower is something you need to be careful of. You only have 50mm right here. The good news is that the transmission is in the way, so in the event that it does penetrate, it's not gonna get far. But here's the thing though, your transmission's in the way, so that means it gets knocked out, you can't move, and you don't have a turret. I'm not sure if it's a double-edged sword, but hey, at least, you buy your teammates some time. Unless of course they are basically brain dead people. And now moving on to the sights. Like the Panther, you have 40mm right here. That has no angle whatsoever. So that's something to be careful of. And if you angle in this thing, make sure you hide your tank behind a building or something, so they can't shoot this or this. Only 50mm right here. Slight bit of sloping right here, but still though, at this battle rating, a lot of tanks you come across can still punch through this. Then moving on to the rear, you only have 40mm right here and 40mm right here. But the thing is, it's the rear of the tank, so enemy gets on behind you, you're basically dead, no matter how you put it. So if all this armor, how's the mobility? It's actually not bad. So You do have 46 tons, which is a little bit heavier than the Panther F. But the good news is that you have a very powerful engine, 600 horsepower at 2500 RPM, 46 kilometers an hour, that's actually not too bad, and you can build up to the speed pretty quickly, thanks to your wide set of tracks. As well as off-road driving is really not a problem. And not to mention, if you need to do a reverse traverse, it really doesn't feel so sluggish at all. Just be careful about one thing though, you don't exactly have a reverse gear, so maybe don't extend yourself too much when you're playing this thing. So you can get into a really good sniping position pretty easily. And should you try to make a turn in this thing, it's really not a big problem. And now moving on, the firepower of this thing, this is the PAC 43 88mm cannon. But in layman's terms, this is basically the Tiger 2's long 88 at 6.3, 6.7 battery rating. And as long 88 goes, this is what we'll be firing, the armor piercing cap ballistic cap shell. That pans up to 237mm of armor. Yeah, this is pretty devastating at its battle rating, because you basically can one-shot almost anything you look at. Not to mention your explosive mass is 64 grams, which is more than enough to one-shot most tanks you come across. Should really penetrate. And in case for a rainy day, this is something I don't really recommend doing, but maybe bring a few just in case. It's APC arm, but yeah, at most you just be using this. Then thinking about it now, the tanks you come across, if you can't pen with this, you're not really gonna pen with this anyway. Maybe just stick to APC BC, but if you want to bring a few APC arm, be my guess. And now, you do have a MG34 right here, a working MG34 that you can use to spray at enemy tanks. Just in case you come across a open door vehicle that your machine gun can't do anything to, you might want to bring a few high explosive. And now moving on, the other aspects of the gun, you have 49 rounds of ammunition. It's up to you if you want to bring as many as you want. I mean, it's gonna be all over the place. No matter where, no matter how little you carry, maybe if you carry less, it's gonna be on one side only. But yeah, you decide whether you want to carry more or less. For me, I probably carry only like a little bit more than half, maybe 30 to 35 shells, but that's about it. And then reloading rate, 9.1 seconds, that's something you need to be careful of. Now I am running expert crew on with tank loader and leadership maxed out. Then I bump it down to 9.1 seconds. And why do I say this is something you need to be careful of is that if you are stuck in a standoff, you kind of wish that your reloads a little bit longer. Or worst case scenario, you can, go short. Anyway, why I say this is something you need to be careful of is that if you don't put points in your reloading rate, yeah, your reloading rate is as long as 11.1 seconds. So yeah, you might want to put some points into your weapon reloading, but this time you should have enough for it. Horizontal guidance plus minus 11 degrees, that's not too bad. Little bit decent, but sometimes I wish I could aim a little bit more left and right. Vertical guidance, minus 8 degrees. That's okay, decent, not too horrible. Not the greatest, not the best, but... And finally, no gun stabilizer, and that's something to be careful of. It's because this gun does bounce quite a bit. I guess it's because of how long the barrel is. And so there you have it. This is the Jagdpanther, a Panther that doesn't have the weak spot of a turret. That's bringing the 88mm into battle. And yes, this is actually pretty devastating, especially if you get down tiered, because most tanks you come across don't really have armor. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Panther. Now let's take this thing into battle. And let's bring the Jumbo Sherman down a battle rating, shall we? out of here, buddy. Got you, homie. I have no idea where you come from. What would be a threat? Don't push, don't push. Yep, I know your life sucks. This one will happen. There you are, you little shit.
gesteuert.